Everybody loves a good ghost story, even if it makes it harder for them to sleep at night. In our last video, we briefly talked about why hauntings take place and what you should expect to see. Today, we're going to talk about some of the scariest places in the world, so get your popcorn ready, because it's going to be a wild ride. Haunted location number 1, the Devil's Pool. Devil's Pool in Australia is thought to be the country's most haunted location. Over the years, people have lost their lives in this swimming hole due to its fast-flowing water. In fact, people who wish to visit this location have been warned to keep their distance. The locals refer to the Devil's Pool as the washing machine, due to the water's violent rotation. So, why is the Devil's Pool haunted, and what might you see if you were to go there? Devil's Pool is said to be haunted by a runaway bride who fell to her death, at least according to Aboriginal folklore. The name of the young woman was Oalana. Oalana was promised to a respected elder from her tribe, the Yindinji tribe, but she fell in love with a handsome young warrior named Digger, who was from another tribe. The couple were forced to run away if they wanted to be together, but it wasn't long before the two lovers were found and Digger was captured. Oalana couldn't fathom living without her lover, so instead, she threw herself into the Devil's Pool. The locals say that if you listen closely, you can hear Oalana crying out for her lover. Some even say they can see her face in the water, and others say that she's responsible for pulling in young men. Haunted location number 2, Myrtles Plantation. The Myrtles Plantation house in the USA is believed to have been built on top of an ancient Indian burial ground, so already we're not off to a good start. Today, this plantation house has been transformed into a bed and breakfast, despite being one of the most haunted places in America. Over the years, there have been reported sightings of ghosts roaming the grounds. One of the most recognized spirits is Chloe. According to the legend, Chloe was a slave who was owned by Clark and Sarah Woodruff. It's said that she was pressured into becoming Clark's mistress, which isn't the only rumor that exists surrounding her life. In her final days, Chloe baked a cake and filled it with poison. To get revenge on her owners, the cake was eaten by Sarah and her two daughters. There are countless rumors as to why she poisoned the family, but in the end, it resulted in her being hung and thrown into the Mississippi River. The details of this story vary depending on who you talk to. Till this day, people debate whether Chloe was ever one of the slaves owned by the Woodruff family. People have also reported seeing Sarah Woodruff and her daughters in one of the mirrors. Back then, it was custom for all mirrors to be covered up after a death, but in this case, one mirror was left uncovered, which resulted in the spirits of Sarah and her daughters being trapped. Other hauntings involving the Myrtles Plantation include a man who walks up to the 17th step before stopping. Some say that this is the ghost of William Drew Winter, who was fatally wounded and crawled up to the 17th step before collapsing. Haunting location number 3, the Tollbooth Museum. The Tollbooth was built in 1393 and is located in Scotland. Originally, the building was used for collecting tolls and goods, but it was later turned into a jailhouse. Over the years, the Tollbooth has gone through a ton of changes and has now been turned into a museum that exhibits some of the old prison cells. Since the Tollbooth Museum was once used as a prison, it's safe to assume that it has seen its fair share of trauma. One of the most famous inmates was Janet Walker, also known as the Fitty Witch. Janet Walker was a 17th century woman who was convicted for witchcraft. She was later strangled and burned, which actually wasn't very common around this time. With deaths like this happening on occasion, you can see why a location like the Tollbooth Museum is shrouded in darkness. There have been other supernatural happenings at the Tollbooth Museum, such as the sound of footsteps, jangling keys, and singing in the corridors. There have even been sightings of a short man dressed in clothing that dates back to the 1920s. Well, that about does it for our list of some of the most haunted places in the world. If you like this video and would like us to cover more haunted stories like this, maybe in much more detail, let us know in the comments below. Before you leave this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for weekly content from trusted psychics.